Okay, so I think we're going to disagree on a whole lot of things today. But I think the one thing that we're all going to agree on today is that the worst place to be right now is the US dollar. Am I right about that, Mooch?
The worst place? No. And listen, I don't think it's the worst place because it's the tallest of the relative fiat currencies. But it is a bad place because of what they're doing to the dollar. Ultimately, they're corrupting the dollar. You know, Peter wrote best-selling books about this. The way we're monetizing our debt and the way we're printing money, 469 billion US dollars printed this year in the first 5 months, it erodes the ability for the middle and lower middle income people to catch up with the wealthy, and it's creating all of this political angst, but not the worst place. There are a few worse places.
Yeah, like Bitcoin.
You know, like as an well, you see, here's the thing. I am convinced after now studying Peter, and Peter, you know, he was very forceful and very persuasive yesterday on his gold pitch on the Intelligence Squared debate. But I'm convinced that Peter owns Bitcoin. I'm absolutely convinced of it because
I wish I owned it. I don't.
The way he talks about it, I think he's accumulating it and he's trying to push the price down because I think Peter sees what Kevin sees. And I admire Kevin's flexibility because he was a Bitcoin skeptic and now he got invested. And ultimately, it's what Andreessen said. This is a software that has transformed the world and is going to allow us to do things with each other that we could never do before without an intermediary. And when you stop and you think about that shorter distance, there's no longer a triangle, Rob. There's a distance just between me and the person that I want to transact with as a direct result of the blockchain, Bitcoin, and some of these other ecosystems that are developing. It's going to massively change the world.
Yeah, but that's all a bunch of hype so far. Nothing has been transformed. All you have is people collecting digital tokens and gambling with them. That's it. I mean, it hasn't changed anybody's life other than some people are richer because people bought it.
Of these wallets, you're leaving out all of the infrastructure and architecture that's being put in place to create this massive superhighway. I'm going to let Raoul talk.
All that is malinvestment, though. That's all going to.
He knows how early. Raoul knows how early it is, but I'm also looking for an invite to his Cayman Islands mansion, so that's why I'm puffing him up a little bit. Go ahead, Raoul.
We banned you. I've told you this. You're never coming here.
It's truly unbelievable. I'm stuck in New York, Rob.
Kevin's trying to get in as well. It's just sorry.
Listen, I've talked to them there. I want in. I want to come down there. I want to set up myself. I'm going to build my condo on top of Mark Cuban's. That's my plan.
Yeah, but you still got to pay taxes in the Caymans if you're an American. See, Raoul, what are you? You're British?
I'm British.
Yeah, so you're free. You know, you can go wherever you want in the world, and the UK is not taxing you. But we're stuck. So you got to come to Puerto Rico.
Same for Canadians as well.
Yeah,
well you could just give back your passports. I mean, you could just, Peter, if you really want to get out, you could just hand back your passport.
Yeah, I'm not ready to do that just yet. So Puerto Rico, so far Puerto Rico is great. I love living there. Beautiful place to be.
But the difference is, Peter,
let me pose a question. Let's go back to this issue on gold versus Bitcoin, okay? What's wrong with owning both? I've got a 5% weighting in gold. I have for 20 years. I've got bullion I pay storage for. I use the GLD to balance on a quarterly basis. I buy into the gold story. I always have. But what's wrong with adding a little dabble-do-ya of Bitcoin? What's wrong with putting it in a portfolio? What's wrong with it?
To me, it's not about a question of Bitcoin versus gold, right? To me, it's like Bitcoin versus GameStop or, AMC or, any other meme stop or, to me, that's a speculative asset. Gold is where I put my safe money that I want liquid, that I don't want to lose. I just want to store value.
Peter, that's fine. That's fine, right? Nobody has an argument with that. But Bitcoin and the crypto world is the fastest adoption of any technology in all recorded human history. It's growing at 113% a year. It's 140 million people. There'll be 1 billion users by 2024. You can't say, well, this is all irrelevant. Everybody's being deluded. This is a madness. Only gold is the truth.
No. First of all, it's got nothing to do with gold. It's a speculative asset. So if you're saying, where do I want to put my chips? What speculative assets do I want to gamble on? Personally, I think there's a lot more upside potential relative to the downside risk in other speculative opportunities that I am taking advantage of. I don't believe in Bitcoin. I never have. I don't think it's going to work. And so I can't buy it and put it away because I don't have any faith in it. But there are other speculative assets that I would rather own. But as far as something that's conservative, a store of value, Bitcoin doesn't even qualify as that. It's all hype.
What would you see having a similar risk reward to Bitcoin? So Bitcoin on average, you're going to see a 60% downside and a 213% upside a year, right? That's the risk.
You don't know that. Bitcoin has been around for about a dozen years, right? That is not a long enough time horizon to say that you know anything concrete. And the entire time Bitcoin's been around, we've been in a gigantic bubble.
The same, right?
Huh?
Facebook's been around the same. So's Google.
No, but Facebook is a company that has revenues and customers. It's got nothing to do with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just a token. But my point is, Bitcoin's entire life history has been during this gigantic bubble. 0% interest rates, quantitative easing. It hasn't been in a cycle. All kinds of crazy stuff are going up. People are just buying all kinds of nonsense. It's all momentum. It's all hype. You can't draw any conclusions about what Bitcoin is going to do in the future by looking in the rearview mirror for the last dozen years. It's going to have to be around a lot longer than that. And in my opinion, it won't be around a lot longer.
Is the network of Bitcoin itself worthless?
I don't know what the network is worth, right? I don't think the coins have any value or the Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't think Bitcoin itself is worth anywhere near what people are willing to pay for it. And I think history is going to bear me out. I don't know what that network is worth and what else it might be able to be used for,
Peter,
other than gambling with Bitcoin.
You invest in a company. You just made a point of a company with revenue and customers, all right? When you invest in any company, you are speculating as well that the management of that company can deliver on the perpetual earnings that you think they can do and, in fact, grow the business. There's many times, let's take Kmart, for example, where executional risk in the end made it worthless. They weren't any good at doing it. When you make a speculative investment, when you buy a Picasso or a Warhol or whatever it is, you're speculating that others will look at that. For example, I bought a Warhol. I've got the 11th Mick Jagger. I'm speculating that will be worth more 10 years from now, because people will think that that's rare. What's the difference between my Warhol and my Bitcoin? What's the difference?
Because there is a long history, going back a long time, of wealthy people appreciating owning art and collecting art and displaying art on a wall. It gives you a lot of satisfaction to have rare pieces of art, hanging in your house that, you can admire, you can enjoy, you can impress your friends. There's a lot of value. And yes, it's not even so much that when you're buying a piece of art, it's that I think it's going to go way up. It's like, I want to preserve my wealth. I got a bunch of paper. I've already got real estate. I've got stocks. What else can I do with my money? Let me put it in some art. It's because paper can always become worthless. So you have to have real things. And a rare piece of art is actually truly scarce. I don't think there's anything really rare or scarce about any of these cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin. Nobody's going to impress their friends with a picture of their Bitcoin wallet hanging on their wall. I mean, it's not. And when you're talking about a company, right? When you buy a business,
Raoul is totally going to impress people with his Bitcoin wallet. Okay, Raoul, put that Bitcoin wallet on your wall.
Hold on.
I'm impressed already.
Let's not make this all about gold versus Bitcoin. Let's zoom out and say the following. Under the assumption that Kevin, Raoul, and Mooch are irresponsibly long Bitcoin and crypto, and I can see it through his shirt. Right now, if you were sitting on US dollars, where would you put the US dollars? If you couldn't put any more into crypto.
I want to disagree. There's no way Kevin is as long as me and Raoul, because look at the way he's dressed, okay? Couple of more digits and Kevin will be in a black T-shirt like the two of us.
I must admit, he was on the pump.
Was that the same T-shirt?
Long enough because he's not wearing the right fashion.
Is that the same T-shirt
on the pump podcast? So
is that the same T-shirt?
Let Mooch. I can't let that go. I'm a fashionista. And I'm trying to raise.
But is that the
bar.
same T-shirt you wore yesterday, or do you have like
I have 25 of these.
This is a little bit tighter. Okay,
no.
My man boobs. This T-shirt's giving my man.
I'm raising the bar on you guys. Okay, you've got to catch up with me. I'm setting the standard for crypto fashion. I am the crypto fashionista, self-declared right now. I look spectacular.
But most of the people in crypto don't even own a necktie.
Exactly. Just like
Not
he
this
changed
one. This
his
is a
views.
magical tie. This is a digital tie right here. It's a beautiful thing.
Just like he changed his views on Bitcoin and crypto, he'll change his views on wearing a suit. I guarantee you. We all did. We all did. We're all in.
Yeah. Well, he'll lose that too. You know, make a copy of your original. And yeah, it won't be the original, but I can have a copy of it on my computer screen and I can look at a picture of that watch. There's a difference between an image of the watch that can be replicated you know, in an infinite number of times, and the actual watch itself. I mean, even if I try to replicate the watch by creating, you know, a knockoff of the watch, it's not the same watch. And so that's not the case with these pictures. I mean, even a baseball card, an actual baseball card is not the same as a photograph of that baseball card on your computer.
Pete, you've got to admit there's something called photographic art. And
but it's not going to, yes, but it's not going to have a collector value. You can look, so you can have posters.
If you want to buy a Mick Rock photograph of David Bowie from 1972, and you want to have that signed by Mick Rock and with the negative, that is worth a lot of money.
But it's the actual photograph as opposed to a digital image of that photograph, which everybody can have.
Just a photograph. You can replicate it all day.
No, but it's not that. Right, but it's not the original one.
So exactly. So what?
Right, but it's an actual thing in reality.
Because when a photographer makes a series of 10 images and signs them, you do not own the only one, but they trade at huge values. I collect black and white photography. When I know it's 1 of 10 or 1 of 16 or 1 of 250, whatever the series is, and the negative is held by the estate and will never print another one, the value of those prints, and remember, there's multiple prints, not just one, goes up.
Right, I know that. And the value is diminished because there's more than one. And if there was only one, it would be worth more than if there's 200 of them, maybe.
It goes up if there's more prints.
Same with the watch NFT.
Well, at some point, the curve has to bend. I mean, if I make a million of them.
Are you saying that you see no value in this?
You're ignoring human nature, though.
No, I look. There could be some small value in maybe the image quality of that one is a little bit greater than what I could just copy, you know. But these are not things that are going to go up in value. The reason that collector items go up in value is because they're originally created not to be collected, to be used. And what happens is most of them end up being destroyed. They're not well kept. And the ones that survive, you know, years and years later, all of a sudden somebody wants them and they have value.